Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into ScanAgent, the ultimate local scanner bridge. We're going to explore a really fascinating solution to a problem that has honestly plagued developers and businesses for years. I mean, if you've ever tried to build software that needs to capture a physical document, you know exactly how painful it can be. So, let's get right into it.
So here's the fundamental issue, right? Why can't web applications just access your scanner? Well, unlike webcams or microphones, web browsers simply do not have a native API for document scanners. They block direct hardware access for very valid security reasons, essentially sandboxing the web page away from your local machine. Now, while that absolutely keeps you secure, it creates a massive headache. Because as we all know, if there's one piece of office hardware that just loves to ruin a developer's day, it's the scanner. Your web application is effectively cut off from the hardware sitting right there on the user's desk.
And this limitation leads directly to our current problem: deeply frustrated users and totally broken workflows. To get around the browser sandbox, organizations usually have to force users into these clunky multi-step workarounds. They have to scan a document using a separate desktop program, save it locally, dig through their folders to find that file, and then manually upload it to the web application. It's slow and it's super prone to errors. To fix this, some businesses resort to buying commercial scanning SDKs, but those often come with closed-source code and really expensive recurring licensing fees.
But there is a much more elegant way to handle this. Let's shift gears to Section 1, Introducing ScanAgent.
So what is ScanAgent? Basically, it's a lightweight, local REST API service that bridges the gap between your web, desktop, or enterprise applications and physical scanners. And here is the real beauty of it. It runs completely silently in the Windows system tray. There are no finicky browser plugins to install, which is great, by the way, because modern browsers don't even support legacy plugins anymore. There are no custom hardware drivers required. It just sits quietly on the local machine and listens for standard HTTP requests, acting as the perfect middleman between your software and the scanner hardware.
Okay, let's dive into Section 2, Features and Architecture, to see exactly how this works under the hood.
The core features here deliver some serious business value. First off, it offers dual protocol support, communicating natively with both WIA and Twain. These are the industry standard protocols that basically all scanners speak. This is absolutely crucial because it ensures compatibility with a massive range of hardware, from your modern multifunction office printers all the way to those older, dedicated legacy scanners, still heavily used in document management. Plus, you get full programmatic control over the scan. You can choose the paper source, like the automatic document feeder, set the DPI, and pick the color mode. The output is highly flexible too, delivering ready-to-use PNG image files or base64 data directly in a JSON response. And again, it features silent background operation, meaning zero workflow interruptions for the user. The architecture itself is brilliantly straightforward. It's a simple three-step local architecture. Step 1, your web or desktop app sends a standard HTTP request to the local network. Step 2, the ScanAgent local service receives that request, processes it, and handles the hardware communication. And Step 3, the physical scanner runs the scan and returns the image data right back to your application as a PNG or base64. What you really should take away from this is the security aspect. Everything happens locally on the user's machine. There's no cloud dependency, no external vendor services. Your sensitive data literally never leaves the building, unless your own application decides to route it somewhere.
Now that we understand the architecture, let's move to Section 3, Interface and Live Demo, to see how easy it is to actually interact with this.
You are going to love this built-in test page. It is fantastic for developers and stakeholders alike, because before you write a single line of integration code, you can test the entire workflow. You can detect connected scanners, choose a specific device, tweak the configuration, and run a preview scan right from a simple, ready-to-use browser page. It proves the concept instantly, without any development overhead.
And honestly, here is the best part. Everything you just did in that test interface maps directly to clean, simple API endpoints. These are standard REST endpoints that your own applications can consume effortlessly. You send a GET request to /health to verify the service is running, you post to /sources to list available scanners, and you post to /scan to trigger the hardware and receive the document. It uses standard methods, returns standard JSON, and is just so much easier than trying to write and maintain custom hardware drivers from scratch.
Let's watch the live demo in action. Scanner selection, configuration, scanning, and finally, the image delivery. The workflow is fast, seamless, and entirely local.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the technology works in practice.
So, where does this fit into the real world?
Let's move to Section 4, Industry Use Cases.
The really great thing about relying on a standard web API is the massive framework compatibility. Literally, if your technology stack can send an HTTP request, it can use Scan Agent. It doesn't matter if your front end is built in Flutter, React, Vue, or Angular. It doesn't matter if your back end is Django, Laravel, or ASP.NET. It even works flawlessly with cross-platform and desktop frameworks like Electron and .NET MAUI, or just plain Python, Java, PHP, and Node.js. It is completely framework agnostic.
This translates directly into pure business benefits across multiple sectors. For document management systems, it means scanning contracts and paperwork straight into digital workflows. In ERP and accounting platforms, it streamlines capturing invoices and receipts. For healthcare software, this local, secure architecture is absolutely perfect for capturing patient forms without violating strict data privacy regulations. In banking, it accelerates client onboarding by instantly scanning identity documents. Basically, anywhere paper meets software like in logistics and warehousing, Scan Agent removes the friction.
Let's pivot to our final section, Section 5, the Developer Advantage, to see how this builds a distinct edge for your team. Now, the industry does have a few legacy solutions that offer similar capabilities for connecting web apps to scanners, but Scan Agent has a massive, defining market advantage here. When you look at commercial SDKs, they're typically closed-source products that lock you into expensive annual fees or per-user licensing models. Scan Agent, on the other hand, is a one-time purchase that actually includes the complete source code. To put that into perspective, consider this quote: "Instead of depending on a closed, licensed SDK, you own the code outright, without waiting on a vendor." This is a real game changer. It gives IT architects and developers absolute freedom. You can customize the API, integrate your own specific business logic, or adapt the software for unique enterprise hardware requirements. You aren't tied to an external vendor's roadmap, and you certainly aren't forced to pay for add-on licenses just to scale your own product.
So, I'll leave you with this final question to consider. As you design your organization's workflows, will your next app be held back by browser sandboxes and clunky manual uploads, or will you build a seamless bridge with full control over the code? Scan Agent offers a powerful, open architecture to solve one of the web's most persistent hardware problems. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it sparks some great ideas for your next integration.